It is Dom time. Welcome in, everyone. Good Thursday. Before we get to the big story of the day, CNN photojournalist with a grenade there with Hamas. It's a Saturday morning, ceasefire, nothing happening. And yet this guy just shows up where they blow up the fence and he's got a grenade on the truck. And then he tells CNN in some of their coverage, this was an Israeli soldier, the body of an Israeli soldier in the back of the truck. Here it was a woman they had raped and murdered. All right, lot to answer for with this. They're not getting away, these weasels, this time. They knew every bit what these guys were dabbling in. Do I think that CNN knew about October 7th? No, but I'll tell you this. If they did, I can't tell you 100% that they wouldn't say, well, journalistically, we can't report anything. We have to be true to our sources. We can't tell you what these animals are plotting to do. And the viewing of the film that shows their handiwork in Hollywood with Wonder Woman last night, even though there was pretty good police presence there, resulted in a riot. They have in their head, they're back in the old country, and they're going to shut us down. Now, today there's going to be a viewing not too far from me in downtown Philadelphia, and it's going to be interesting. If Mayor Kenny were not such just a shameless slouch, and Larry Krasner, I think the new police chief might be there, or temporary police chief.
Huh.
But no, I don't mean at the viewing. I mean outside.
Oh.
The mayor ought to be there himself. And he ought to say, I'm bringing back. I don't even know if they have the horses anymore. And you're not going to, you violate even the slightest what the protocols are. There will be massive number of cops, but they're bicycle cops. They're the guys that like to engage. And you're just not going to go over the line. That's exactly what should be said. Just for once, do I think Mayor Sherelle Parker, by the way, I don't call her mayor-elect, I call her mayor now, that helps us get through Kenny. Do I think Mayor Parker would do that? Yeah, I think so, and she'll be on Tuesday. I want to play you so I don't forget in the heat of this big thing in Israel, though, Dan. Here's something I'm going to ask her about, and I want to, she's right on the money. She talks about we need to have a sense of order. We need to get past the lawlessness. But there's something in here, Dan, see if your mind, when you hear it, thinks the same way about what she says about retail theft. There's just one giant elephant in the room on this.
Yes.
Here's Sherelle Parker last night talking about her movement forward and transition.
Wait, you all heard me? I used the term so much, the press started making fun of me every time I said intergovernmental cooperation. I said it so much. Local, state, federal government. Any agency that can add value in helping us make public health and safety the number one priority. If we make decisions, there are going to be some people who are not going to like them. There are going to be some people who are going to say some things that are not nice. Listen, I need you all to know that we are prepared. That we know we have to make these tough decisions. But when you hear about people altering their lives and moving where their favorite chair is in their living room because they are afraid, that tells us
it's a great line.
That we have a challenge. You won't be able to go in the store and steal $499 worth of merchandise and just think that it's okay. We have to have a sense of order in
let me go back.
City.
The rest, the chair was a great line, but the other part, you know what I'm thinking on this? She means it in her mind, and she's going to direct the police, and the police commissioner is going to send cops, and they're going to arrest you, etc. I believe, Dan. But the other guy's going to say, "Ha!" Don't you think? Do you not think he's going to say? He might even clean his glasses, one of those cleaning glasses moments.
Yeah. Like in his revolutionary memo, Krasner had $500 was the exact amount.
Right.
For her to note $499, that's a direct shot towards Krasner.
Right. But what can you do about it? What are you prepared? You know what it is? It's the untouchable speech, the Chicago way, which I couldn't agree with more in dealing with this, when who's the actor now? the eyewitness, Cosner, is told he puts one of yours in the hospital, you put two of his in the morgue, the Chicago way. Well, what are you going to do about Krasner? It's a different branch of government. Are you going to say, well, I'm enforcing all these things. The police are enforcing them. He's not. That's good. That's a start, and document it, pound it. But there's got to be some reprisal. There's got to be something that makes life more difficult for him. What's the point of leverage with Larry Krasner? That would be a master class. I'd like to see people teach that think they know this stuff. I want to hear what it is. All right. Now, the Hamas journalist. So we have just great work by this honest reporting group, and they document, and the state of Israel through the prime minister has come out on this. They document several of these people who were photojournalists, so to speak, for CNN and the Associated Press, both notorious for this type of stuff. The state of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu's Twitter says, or a couple people taking from him on his Twitter, these people, Dan, will be treated like terrorists. I don't know if that means they can be shot on sight. So here's CNN, the AP, and then now there's several of these guys. One of them was photographed on a Hamas truck as they were going in, as they're doing this, with a grenade.
What? Wow.
This is stunning stuff. And they haven't, the new head of CNN said this was most unfortunate. Most unfortunate. So they've kind of confirmed it. Now they're trying to dodge, even though they knew all along that these guys that we're talking about, these photojournalists are Muslim, were sharing office space with Hamas. Now, I don't know that they both had the same office, like we have an office right here, but they're on the same hallway and all. So what are you thinking? Do you research who you're dealing with here, or do you just take this stuff because it's hard to get stuff out of Gaza? You know what else it does? It underlines as if we didn't know it. You can trust nothing in any way, shape, or form from anything that comes out of Gaza. We all know that. And if they cite one more time the Gaza Health Agency, it's stunning, their figures. 1 trillion people were killed today. But it underlines it even more. So they just walk away. They say, well, we didn't know anything, and we're not dealing with them now. The AP and CNN, that's their stance. We don't like this. We're moving away. No damage here. So, why were they there on that day when the fence was blown up?
And the implications that has, too.
Sure.
Because think about it. If reporters knew to ride on these vehicles, or photographers, right, then they had to know, hey, meet at X to get on the back. So the implications would be that they knew prior to this attack that it was going to happen.
Exactly.
Wow.
Now, this is a long-running narrative in which some people believe, and look, I don't say it about all. If the American media is represented today as they are, like NBC, CBS, CNN, and all the rest, some of them would report exactly what we were going to do on June 6, 1944. They would spill their guts. I got an exclusive here. I'm going to tell the Germans what you're doing. I think some of them would. Not all. That's what we've come to. If the news media knew then, and maybe some of them did sort of, they're not going to report that. They're Americans. They're patriots. And some of these people would say, but I'm a journalist. Of course I would report we're going to invade the Germans. What? So how are you associating with people like this? You willingly just said, well, we don't care whatever else they're up to. We want those visuals. We want those visuals out of Gaza. We want their reporting. They reported on them, too. I told you the one visual they said was the body of a dead Israeli soldier. No, it was not. It's that woman they raped and attacked, their nude body. I mean, this should have repercussions. This ought to be brought up over and over and over again by Republicans to make the point of what we're dealing with here. And I mentioned Wonder Woman screening the film last night in downtown Hollywood near the Museum of Tolerance, if you can imagine, had the Palestinian third column in our country riot. an attack toward the movie theater. They don't want us showing this. Now, I've experienced this before with Democrats. Remember Stolen Honor? And I told you, Dan, the story. I go over one Sunday afternoon. The guy that's the owner of the the Baderwood Cinema, I think it was, over there in Jenkintown area, right?
Very unfortunate name.
He's not there. So he has this guy that's the assistant manager. He's about 28 to 30. I told him exactly what the film was. Of course, I didn't emphasize, oh, man, if we show this here. He agreed. They did the whole thing. When the owner found out about it, oh, my God, this was all the way up the chain at then CBS. It was nuts. We still had people go over there. There was a pitched battle to try to get their money back. You weren't allowed to see Stolen Honor. Well, they're saying the same thing about this film, which shows the atrocities through the body cams worn by the savages and through their social media. This isn't Israeli media. This is based upon what they're proud of. There's no doubt about it. Why can't we see that in America? And I can tell you this, I can't make today, sadly, but on the invitation, they did talk, as you can imagine, a lot about security and a lot about, they were going to try to be as diligent as they could, even though it's right here in downtown Philadelphia. Where's the big mouth whale of a mayor? Where is he? Why is he not out there? You know who should be in attendance too, Dan? I'm sorry to say, he should be, though. The Archbishop of Philadelphia ought to be in attendance, don't you think?
Yeah.
This is giving witness because already you're hearing these voices in the media saying it didn't happen. They pick around the edges. They're kind of like the Holocaust deniers. Well, it wasn't 6 million, that type of talk. They're already started up, even though we have more visuals of this, more evidence, and they're proud of it than anything we've ever seen. No, the mayor and every public official ought to say, this is all out. You are not going to harass. You're not going to get near this theater. You're not going to bother people like they did in Hollywood. All right, side question today, and I think we have a little bit of Jeff Van Drew. Congressman Van Drew yesterday, there was in the House, a hearing, as I understand it, on what makes America great. Some of the things we love about the country. You watch more of it than I certainly. And you had some of these kids testify who were gaga over America. Some of the adult pundits, though, Dan, apparently were not.
Yeah, so I had this on the background while doing prep, and I happened to hear good old Jeff Van Drew talk about this. And yeah, what it is, it's professors as witnesses and then students as witnesses, students testifying the hate they've seen, the rise of anti-Semitism on college campuses, and professors trying to justify their reasoning. So Jeff Van Drew goes down the list of the witnesses and asks them a simple question. Do you believe in American exceptionalism? And first you'll hear the professor witnesses, the expert witnesses, and then you'll hear the student witnesses. And just listen to the difference between the rhetoric between the so-called experts and the students that are preaching American values. Take a listen.
So, Dr. Nadell, I'm going to ask you one thing, and I would just like a yes or no answer. And I'm sorry to do that to you, but we're so time constricted. Do you believe in American exceptionalism?
I believe that there is an idea of American exceptionalism that has been upheld by scholars.
Ma'am, I appreciate you.
I can't answer.
You can't answer.
My God, that's it. Get her out of the chair.
Ms. Burdette, do you believe in American exceptionalism? Please, yes or no?
I don't find the question relevant to this hearing.
It is very relevant. It's relevant to what's happening with campuses, but I thank you. Gosh, I have a tough time with you. Oh, Griziak, do you believe in American exceptionalism? Yes or no?
Unequivocally, yes, I do.
Ms. Jordan, do you believe in American?
Undoubtedly, yes, I do.
Ms. Silverstein, do you believe in American exceptionalism?
I do.
These are great young people. You have the courage to tell the truth and give an answer.
I love Andrew. He's an awesome.
Oh, my God. That's not a relevant question. He should have put the hammer down. I'll determine what's relevant and not. You're out of order.
Get him out.
Just keep asking it. I think, give me a couple more minutes here. Get one of your colleagues to give you a minute or two. It's always with the time, too. Why are we always running out of time? Let's sit there for hours with these people until they give it up, till they cough it up. That's not a relevant question.
Not a relevant question.
I don't find that
it's an easy question. Yes. Just say yes.
It was like Jackie Childs. It's Inarguably irrelevant and outrageous.
Why is the idea of American exceptionalism now a political
Right.
political
Yeah.
debate?
Why is it irrelevant? Yes. All right. So what we're looking for is something great. We're spinning it a little bit, not just American exceptionalism, but something you really love about America. All right. Number one thing to me, I'll take off opportunity. They can't deny that, even though they try. It is the land where we say only in America you can go from nothing to something pretty good over the course of your lifetime. And everybody has that chance. Yeah, some start out with advantages, but you still have that opportunity. Opportunity, critical. Dan, what's yours?
Behind us, that music that you just heard was Wonder Woman's Wrath, the theme from
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. So, in the vein of American exceptionalism, I think this works because it also makes America great. I'm not a huge fan of the comic book movies that have came out, but nobody does comic books like America does. It is
Okay.
above and beyond. Bouncing off of that with comic books, there's also something I love much more than comic books. That's wrestling. Wrestling, nobody in the world does wrestling like Americans
I
do.
don't know.
Well,
The Japanese?
Japanese do
Yeah.
it pretty well. You're right.
The Mexicans, they have a different
Oh,
style.
Lucha
Yes.
Libre.
Yeah,
you
there
know,
go,
that one, yeah. You know what? That's a
Yeah.
very
That's
international.
irrelevant,
I'm
sir.
going to withdraw my wrestling
Okay.
answer.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
I'll say the game of American football.
All right. There you
Yes.
go. Yes. All right. So hit us with that at 855-839-1210. That's the side question here. Coming up, I'll give you last night this not even three-ring circus of these five, JV squad. Trump not there. He's not going to go there to the fourth debate, which is going to be hosted by Megyn Kelly. Oh, man. Megyn Kelly and Vivek Ramaswamy, if he's in it. But I'll tell you what they're all thinking. They're thinking out of 91 counts, Trump is going to be convicted on something. I would say the odds are he is going to be convicted on something. But I'll tell you why the something is what matters here, as far as Trump still just having overwhelming support, not even close, even if convicted. All that straight ahead here with Dom and Dan on Talk Radio 1210.
Guess what we won't do? We won't tiptoe through the tulips.
He's been waiting all day to put that one in. Dom Giordano Show. That's Mayor Sherelle Parker. Sorry, Jim Kenney. You are the mayor of Wegmans until further notice. I wonder how that's going with this guy. I mean, how can he slough off and say, I think I'll slough off? How would we know the difference between that and actually being mayor?
Well, I think the guy probably has a whiteboard on his wall at this point that has a countdown of how many days left I got to be mayor. He's already stated multiple.
Exactly.
Well, just the one.
How many more checks am I going to continue to get? Then that big drop plan pension, the whole thing, and oh my God. 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board.
Does he have a golden parachute after this?
Well, they all have that drop program where they calculate the pension could be enormous. He's probably getting 180, 200, 250 a year, something like that. He was in council for quite a while. Then he's mayor for 8 years.
What a gig.
Well, and some architectural firm. Did you know that? Some architectural firm has him as a consultant all these years. I think it was $75,000. Can you picture Jim Kenney? Would you walk in a building and he helped design anything?
What was he before mayor? Was he?
He was a gopher for Vince Fumo. That's where he learned all of his stuff. Yeah.
So what's his architectural background?
None that I know of. I got to research that a little bit more and see if he's going to be over there with the T-square and whatever. All right. So American exceptionalism. You heard. You got to keep that woman. I don't find that question to be relevant. My God. I'm not answering. Are you an American?
American exceptionalism. Okay, that's good. Ms. Burdette, do you believe in American exceptionalism? Please, yes or no?
I don't find the question relevant to this hearing.
It is very relevant.
And the kids say, oh, yes, undoubtedly. Where'd you get these people from? Oh, my God. And always with the clock. You know, we don't have any more time for this. Too much important business. It's always important business. What the heck are they doing? Okay, yes. Here is, here's John Kennedy, a comedian senator. Ro even thinks he's funny. She met him and loved it at the Dr. Oz event.
Yeah.
Here, I had to follow him, too. It was not easy following John Kennedy.
Wait, at that event where that lady passed out?
Oh, no, maybe I was before him. He may have been
after me. Was that the same event, though, where the woman passed out? Yeah, the woman
passed out when I was speaking. It was that magnificent.
Gosh.
I just kept talking, and the guy goes, but Don.
With you and John Kennedy in the room, Don.
Yeah, and Dr. Oz jumps over the rampart there to get to her. It was quite a spectacle at Jim Worthington's place. So, yeah, I remember Kennedy saying, heck, Dr. Oz even promises to wear pants to the office. So here's Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana with Mayorkas, who is brilliant in his role. This guy, you wind him up, he comes in and testifies the border's perfectly fine, and just keeps on saying it. And he's daring you to do something to him. Now, once the presidential race, I still would impeach this guy if there's if there's any time left anyway on the clock. Start impeaching him then, once we've won. Listen to what Kennedy said after yesterday's testimony.
Your time is expired. Here's well, you let others go on. Here's what I think, Mr. Secretary. I think you're a smart guy. Now, there are only one or two things going on here. Either you're not qualified to manage a Costco food court, or you believe in open borders. I think it's the latter.
Senator Kennedy, your time has expired. Thank you.
I would just say the following two things. Number one, you're 0 for 2 on that. You're inaccurate in both respects, number one. And I'd like the record to reflect that 60 minutes is not 45 minutes. Because I can't seem to answer a question without being interrupted. I just wanted to make that comment.
Well, if you would answer a question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I appreciate the recognition.
God, the Democrats always trying to run out the clock. Oh, what time? I've got some time here. Well, then how about not starting at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday? How about starting at 7 a.m. on a Monday? Lunch will be served at your table. Bathroom break will be 3 minutes. There will be hand sanitizer there if you want to wash your hands. Let's get on with the testimony. Because you know what I believe? That's right. Over the course of time, when people get a little bit tired, Mayorkas was getting a little bit antsy there. I was told 45 minutes, 60 already. What the hell's going on here? I got to go back and screw up the border some more. And he's not in charge of the border. He's in charge of Homeland Security, Dan. We forget that. We only see him with the border. Can you imagine your life is on the line? All of our lives are in the hands of Mayorkas here as Homeland Security head. Wow.
He makes a great point though. Like the guy is smart enough to get where he is.
Yes.
He's a lying stooge at this point.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's got to have a comeuppance at some point to himself. Like looking in the mirror after
Yes.
going and embarrassing himself on a national stage in this kind of hearing. He's got to. And I feel like John Kennedy's strategy is to embarrass the guy until the point where he realizes he's being embarrassed and there's no other option but to speak out the truth against the Biden administration.
One of these days, you can't handle the truth.
Right?
You're damn right. I didn't order a code red.
It breaks just like that.
Oh, God. All right. Now, the debate last night, a little bit. You got to cover it a little bit, right? Here's what this is coming down to. Politico, of all places, has a great piece today. They make this point. Are people going to care? This is really the biggest question hanging over this campaign. A, I think Trump is going to be found guilty on one or more counts out of the 91 counts. Are people going to care at all that are supportive of Trump? I'd say some. I mean, it's a game, Guy Shiraki was on yesterday, these people say, well, I'm a Republican, but I don't like it. Trump's convicted now. I can't support him. How much of a percentage? We'll see. 2, what does also matter, though, is not just if he's convicted or not, but what he's convicted of. So if it's the documents thing, I think people could easily, if it's January 6th, then we're going to get into maybe more of a bit of an erosion. And that's what these people are calculating. They're also calculating, would Trump make me vice president material? And getting inside Trump's mind to figure vice president. He was asked about Tucker Carlson, and he said, sure, I would consider Tucker Carlson. He doesn't say, I don't see him in a million years picking Tucker Carlson. Now, I still think Tim Scott would be a great choice, even though Tim Scott on his own, seeing him in these debates, it's brutal. It really is brutal. It's ponderous. It's the same old stuff with him. Really, he shouldn't be running for president anymore. He made his point. It's very tough. So the person who I think did the best yesterday overall was Ron DeSantis. Didn't set the world on fire, but came out of it showing you what he could do if he were in charge of something. He wasn't as awkward. There wasn't a lot of that. Christie, of course, it's just Nikki Haley. There's not a war she doesn't like. It would be unending, unceasing what she wants to do. And there were a lot of high heel jokes of one sort or another. Vivek Ramaswamy is wearing on people. I don't know about you, Dan. Now, you met him personally out here. I've never met him in person. I've interviewed him several times, but he's wearing. It's too much.
Yeah.
Here's the one exchange. And look, when you bring kids into this will be D2. You got to know you're in trouble. You're not the smartest guy in the room in this. Stop it already. So he's going back and forth with Nikki Haley, and they're talking about things like TikTok. He seems to think TikTok is fine. He's on TikTok and all the rest of it. Listen to this exchange.
Well, I want to laugh at why Nikki Haley didn't answer your question, which is about looking at families in the eye. In the last debate, she made fun of me for actually joining TikTok while her own daughter was actually using the app for a long time. So you might want to take care of your family first.
Leave my daughter out of your voice.
Adult daughter. The next generation of Americans are using it. And that's actually the point. You have her supporters propping her up. That's fine. Here's the truth.
You're just
the easy
scum.
answer is actually
Well,
to
wait
say
a minute. Stop it there. Did you hear what she said? You're scum. Yes. And I want to see, Dan, this is a little snap test on this. Now, admittedly, with listeners and with me, Nikki Haley is damaged here big time. They see what she's all about. But this guy going after the daughter. Come on now. Don't hide in the weeds. We know we don't like that, even if you like him in this or you don't like Haley. Is that a fair point? Well, your daughter uses TikTok. Maybe you ought to look at your own family. This is, there was a big debate in the Senate yesterday, and I side with the guy I don't like nearly as much. Hawley was debating Rand Paul. Rand Paul sees TikTok as a freedom of speech thing. Hawley was talking about it as a spy operation and something that's done to undermine America. I would ban TikTok. Dan, would you ban TikTok?
I would at least set guidelines that you got to be of a certain age to use it.
Okay, you're worried about
Like
the age.
16 maybe.
I'm worried about the overall thing that it does.
Like
though.
it's proven. So it's a TikTok. Just a little bit of
Yeah.
information behind it. The parent company is a conglomerate of the Chinese government.
Yes.
And this parent company, the app that's released inside the walls of China. When they have children on the app, what they show them is community service, doing good for your community, learning engineering, stuff like
in
that.
China, right?
And what they purposely feed Americans is BS, crap, divisiveness. So it's literally the Chinese government trying to use subversion to divide American public. So yes, I believe it's a spy tool, but how much can you limit private industry? Maybe we can set laws that if the Chinese government's involved in something like this, then then ban it. But I feel like we got to be really clear as to what we're banning here.
We're banning them from buying farmland, and I don't know why we ever allowed. I wouldn't let them buy anything here in any way, shape, or form.
That's a fantastic point. So let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's ban any kind of Chinese involvement in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. 855-839-12. As much as I love Rand Paul, I think he's wrong on this one, and I think Hawley, who there's trouble there, but is correct on it.
Vivek is throwing bombs and he's trying to be unorthodox as a 37-year-old. He feels maybe that's necessary.
Women don't appreciate it.
Right. I
You
didn't
go
think
after your daughter and your high heels.
Right.
It's sexist.
I didn't think so.
Terrible night.
But
Steve Ducey, terrible night.
Terrible.
Go after your high heels. See, did call her Dick Cheney in heels, and that's kind of accurate. It's a good line. I don't think that's over. Bringing the kid into this, though, come on. No, that's not where you go. And the more people see Vivek Ramaswamy, the more he craters. That's what's happening here. I don't know how Trump feels about it. Trump calls him Mr. Smarty Pants and says he likes it. I think Trump's playing him. I think he's playing him big time here, Dan.
It's weird to me too, because what made him popular in the first place was he was kind of the almost a sense of normalcy for a younger generation. Like they saw a guy here that was speaking what they truly valued, and he had really good points, and he was calm, had a calm demeanor. And then when he got in the debate stage the first time, it's like a switch was turned, and he turned into an attack machine, an attack dog.
Yeah.
People don't want that, man. And I think maybe his campaign strategists are saying you got to make an impact, you got to make a name for yourself, make some headlines. That's not the way to do it, though.
No, I agree with you. He had it, just his youth. Just his background, his success story.
Yeah.
He could have bounced off of that. The area where he's still strong is going after them inside the Republican Party, going after them on Ukraine and things of that nature. But even there, calling Zelensky a Nazi, something of that thing, that's out of bounds. The comedian in camo, and he won't hold elections.
This is coming from a show that's not particularly friendly to Ukraine in the first place.
Right,
But that's
exactly,
a bit far.
Yeah, exactly. So he has a lot going on that he could have bounced off of and stood out from the first debate to now. 855-839-1210. We had another Peter Ducey Biden thing where Biden's saying, well, you don't know anything about polls. There's a lot of polls in which I'm not trailing. Oh, yeah? Where are they?
Show me.
Peter Ducey. All right. Get in on that, though, now. And side question, something really great that America excels in, something about the DNA of America. That stuff with Jeff Andrew yesterday is so revealing. The kids, I get it. Exceptional. What else would you call it? Irrelevant.
On college campuses, but I thank you. Gosh, I have a tough time with you. Griziak, do you believe in American exceptionalism? Yes or no?
Unequivocally, yes, I do.
Ms. Jordan, do you believe in American?
Undoubtedly, yes, I do.
Thank you. Ms. Silverstein, do you believe in American exceptionalism?
I do.
These are great young people.
And then he should have added a line about shame the professors here.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I thought he would say it reminds me of being back in Jersey with people back there. All right. He may be at the, I'm headed down to Ocean City tonight, the big Save Our Shore group. Got all my, got quite a packet here as the MC. I usually don't do any of that, but a lot of speakers,
They
a lot
gave
of
you
stuff.
a packet?
Yeah, of the bios of these two. And,
Robin's got a good team over there with Protect Our
Oh,
Kids.
yeah.
Every time we do something with him, he's got
Me. I'll be skipping around a little bit, though, to put it mildly. And Jeff Andrew might be there. We're told he might come to it. So it's going to be a great crowd. Flanders. Ro and I love Flanders in Ocean City. Hey, it's so important to make sure our families have the essentials: food, shelter, and of course, pure, clean drinking water. A lot of news about drinking water these days. Just do what I did and count on Martin Water Conditioning to secure your family's drinking water. The Kinetico system that removes all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap? Crystal clear, all natural water. Not only is it the best tasting water ever, it provides peace of mind knowing your family's water is pure and clean. The Martin Water Conditioning family, passionate about water. They'll put their 46 years of experience to work for you. Their customer service, attention to detail, fantastic. Dwayne came out this time, and every one of the guys I've had come out, two things. They're immaculate in the way they leave what they've done when they come to test. And they love showing you, Dom, look at this. Look at the difference, what this system is doing. Just contact the Martin Water Conditioning people and mention Dom 2023, DOM 2023. Get an exclusive offer. That's Dom 2023. You can call 800-887-7555, 800-887-7555, or click on martinwater.com. It is Dom time. Welcome in. Side question today. It is so noticeable that with Jeff Andrew and the pundit experts there refusing to answer, is America an exceptional country? Is it the exceptional country versus the kids that were there? My God. Yeah, that's what I say. You ought to ask every school board member in these races. What do you want when a kid here's question 1, comes out of 4 years of your high school, or the whole feed or the 12 years of education in your school district. If they were asked, is America still, I would put still in there because it was racially biased at one point, obviously. Is America still a racist country? Do you want them to, well, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's an irrelevant question. No, it ought to be no. They ought to say no pretty easily, right? That would tell you all that you need to know about what they're being indoctrinated in. Let's go to Dina in Cherry Hill. Dina's waiting on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Dina, welcome in. Hi, Dina.
Hello.
Yes,
Hi.
Dina. Hi.
Hi. I'm actually Diane, but that's
Okay, Diane. Hi.
Hi. My answer about the question was our national park.
Yeah, tell us
Because
why.
I don't think any country in the world has a system of national parks like we do, and to think that they're actually a gift from God and not created by any human, I just think is just amazing.
That is a great response. Thank you. Yeah, the national parks system and the what it reflects on, where it came. All we have to do is manage it. All right, I saw something here too, Dan. I'm kind of curious if you have a thought. Sometimes I wonder why listeners on a city, because I'm wary sometimes of Philadelphia issues. We have a lot of people in the suburbs, how much we go into them. But I do see a lot of interest in this idea of building an arena for the Sixers. Now, I watched the Sixers last night, and I was getting such great enjoyment. Basketball is my thing. And then when they started to choke.
Did
at
Embiid
the
have butter on his fingers that first half, though? What was
Yeah,
with that?
but overall, they had a really good lead. They were putting it to the Celtics. And then in about a 51 or 52-second period of time, oh my God, all the demons were back. And I was on the floor screaming. It's Ben Simmons.
Out of the Barca Lounge?
Yes, all over again. So people do care, our listeners, about this arena. So Sherelle Parker now has given us another clue. She's going to be on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. I'll ask her about this. Dan, and the clue is, she said, we'll hear all the voices in the city. One voice will not dominate. In other words, it's clear to everybody that Chinatown doesn't want it. But by talking about all the voices in the city of Philadelphia does want it. It's $1 billion in jobs and ongoing and all that stuff that's out there. I would almost put it at 100%. They are going to build that Sixers arena. I would be shocked if they don't ultimately. And I'm not a fan of the Sixers management, as you know, even a little bit, and think this is preposterous, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Why is it preposterous? It's a fantastic idea.
Well, people that are going to be displaced by it, they usually have. I mean,
are they will they be displaced though, or are their property values just going to skyrocket? Is everyone renting in Chinatown? I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of rental, but not only that, the traffic is going to be just enormous. So usually, I'm just saying, usually the Democrat Party says they go by the will. They wouldn't build the stadium at Temple and all that. They're just not going to do it. And it's clear they don't want it there. And even worse than anything, this is a cultural thing. It is their Chinatown.
How about Broad and Spring Garden, where Rendell proposed at Philly Stadium?
Yeah, well, look what happened with all this stuff at the Philly Stadium that we went through it. If you were just vocal enough, they were able ultimately to stop it and put it downtown in South Philly where there's nobody there.
Now, let me ask you this. If first we completely reinvigorated SEPTA and we built a better traffic pattern to get to that area of the city, would you then support it?
Well, you're not going to do something with SEPTA. I want to see that. So
ideas,
I kind of reject that one. I just think it's always, and I told you the reason. Democrats and Republicans are both on that board. They're insiders. They answer to no one. No one's ever done anything about it. And as far as the rest of it, I get it. The city needs money. I just don't see how that follows what they've always done before, though. But it's going to happen, without a doubt. That I market. And
Like
I think,
Market East right there. It's so
yeah,
dead. Like
yeah,
it's right out. It's in the shadow of City Hall. It's in the center of
right.
the city, right next to where the country was founded. And
Mhm.
by 9 p.m., it's rows of teenagers going to the gallery and motorcycles,
Burlington Coat Factory Mall,
ATVs,
yes.
and dirt bikes going up
Yeah.
and down. Like I can't imagine someone that lives in Chinatown wouldn't want the camaraderie that comes with a Wrigleyville. Similar situation in Chicago, where
Right.
businesses are popping. It would completely reinvigorate that part of the city.
All right, I'll put you on the committee. There's gonna be a big town hall over in Chinatown, and Dan, I'd like to have you make one of the arguments for it.
Yeah, yeah, that would.
It might be interesting. All right. It's 855-839-1210. That's how you get in. Hit us on the side question. Something truly spectacular about America. And one wait, that's real testimony too with Jeff Andrew. Good for him in bringing those academics in. Big story today that we're continuing to follow. We might have somebody on it. Is these journalists, photojournalists, a bunch of them that were associated with CNN, Associated Press, PBS, all the usual suspects. They knew, as far as we can tell, what was going to happen on October 7th. The government of Israel is saying we're going to treat them just like terrorists. Wow. And CNN's guys said, well, this was most unfortunate. We didn't know anything. Really? These are the guys you're working with. Doesn't it tell us, once again, all that we need to know about the media, particularly when it comes to stories like this? All right, Roy. Roy over at Batteries Plus Bulbs, Route 73 in Mount Laurel, and also Roy over in Northfield on Tilton Road. He has just the formula for success, and that's great for Dom listeners. He's the guy who opened the first Batteries Plus location in the tri-state area in Mount Laurel over 17 years ago. The combination of great technical expertise, and he knew that people, technology, phones, all this stuff is good. Ron, what was your experience at Batteries Plus Bulbs?
Oh, it was a great experience. I had a lamp that we had for many years, and we really liked it. I says, how am I going to replace this? And then I jogged my memory. Oh, I heard your commercial again. I says, oh, yeah, let me take it over there and see what happens. And the guy says, okay, the owner will be in tomorrow, and I'll give you a call. I went on a Monday. He says, call me on Tuesday. They called me on Tuesday. It was all fixed. Everybody was so pleasant. Of course, like $20-30. I forget what the price was. And they're so pleasant, and they're so knowledgeable. It was incredible.
Well, I could go forward, but that's Ron calling in yesterday. They also carry an extensive inventory of batteries and lighting products to solve just about any problem. Now, reach them. Tell them what you're looking for. Tell them what the situation is. You might be a business that needs their help. 856-638-0778. 856-638-0778. All right, Dom Giordano Show. Welcome in. Just a note. One of America's great mayors, just a great guy, Vietnam veteran. Tomorrow is the real good parade, the Veterans Day parade. Tomorrow in media always kicks off at 11:11 a.m. So, Dan, they used to have me broadcast outdoors from there. Tomorrow, a day like that would be okay. One year, it was like a 25-mile-an-hour wind, and I think the real temperature had to be below 30.
Oy.
And usually it doesn't bother me. It's not that, but that was to get to the finish line outdoors there. It may have been 25 degrees.
Oy.
Yeah.
So is that why we're not doing it anymore? Because it's so cold, or like let's
I
start
don't
doing
know
it
what
again in the
happened.
future,
Yeah,
man.
it is thousands and thousands of people. And Bob McMahon is the architect. And they actually don't bring in like a big celebrity as much as tomorrow it's Colonel Arthur L. Jenkins.
Oh, that's great.
People like that, they honor and make the grand marshal. So Bob McMahon still doing it, going strong. It is the best. It's one of the best in the country. Truly great.
I don't know if you know this, my father-in-law is a big camper guy.
Mm-hmm.
If it's cold in one of these things, pull up his camper. We can broadcast from the camper at the parade. I'm sure they'd love to see the parade.
Well, that brings
Just need
me
more
to
advanced planning.
That brings me
tomorrow,
to
but-
and Dave Scalish, one of the best engineers in the world, not just in America, right? Was quarterbacking it. We're at Joey Vento's. It was an anti-Mumia Abu Jamal because there were rumblings. Ward Churchill, that notorious professor, was even in town to get him out of jail. So we're broadcasting in front of it. And I think it had to be in December because of Danny Faulkner.
Oy.
And I had a big crowd in front of me. And I told Dave, I don't think this is appropriate because it was so cold. My nose was running.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? How often can you wipe and do stuff and turn back?
I don't think listeners realize, like try talking for 15 minutes straight without sniffling in 10-degree weather. It's tough.
Yeah. So he put me in a vehicle there, and I broadcast out of the vehicle, sitting there in
that's
front
the
of
way
Joey
to be.
Vento's. It was challenging.
Yeah.
I did get an interview with Ward Churchill. Now, he doesn't mean anything to you. To listeners, he does, though. Notorious professor out in Denver, just one of the most radical ever. And I asked him how long he supported Mumia, something like this. Now, you realize I have to run down the street, risking life and limb with the mob there to actually put a microphone.
Very brisk.
And he
walk.
goes, we were brothers from a different mother at birth, something like that. I think I still have it, Dan. It was like a 4-second interview that took every bit of scheming possible. He was in town for it. All right, let's go to Robert on Talk Radio 1210 on Ben Salem. Hey, Robert, afternoon.
Hey, Dom, how you doing, Dom and Dan? Didn't Ward Churchill also falsely claim to be part Native American, like Elizabeth Warren, too?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But when he said that different brother from a mother, and then he looked at me like, it's
He was off the chain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I will say that I definitely believe in American exceptionalism, but I don't know if a lot of people know what it is, okay? And it seems to me you don't have to be American, okay?
Right.
You only need two things to get American exceptionalism: capitalism and individual freedom, the two things that the Democrats hate most, okay? And that's all you need. And that has led to the richest country on earth. And all you got to do is let your people do their thing, which Democrats don't want to do.
Well,
but I definitely believe in American exceptionalism, and it can be exported.
I think so. We've seen it at different places. Sometimes it doesn't work. I don't know that it works in the Middle East. We tried that. Robert's on board. That's a good one. Something great about America that gives, riveting stuff with Jeff Andrew. Was like he's in, why don't you step into my dental chair here? And, it's Marathon Man, Dan. He's got the dental appliance there. Now, do you think America is exceptional? Irrelevant.
He pulls out the drill.
And now, all right, it's exceptional. Got to get him on that. He's a good sport about the dentistry.
Oh, it's a terrible noise. I apologize to the audience.
No, that's the stop the hammering. All right.
I should run that every time I do the bench spot.
No, he doesn't do that. Hey, Rescue Natural Supplements, unprecedented Black Friday sale is back again this year. The savings are bigger and better than ever. Right now, they're slashing prices on all supplements with discounts ranging from 50 to an incredible 80% off the total cost. Rescue has a wide array of products to address your health needs, including immunity and cholesterol support, heart health, natural energy enhancers. That's 50% off omega-3s, probiotics, and a lot more. One more thing. This Rescue Black Friday sale will run the entire month of November. So shop today at res-q.com, res-q.com, or call a Rescue product consultant at 800-26-ALIVE. 800-262-5483. Again, all Rescue supplements are 50 to 80% off during the entire month of November. So why wait? Start shopping right now. Do it now. Do it today. res-q.com.